I'm actually really excited that we just recorded the song because it just got really windy. So I wrote Satisfied, the song, probably about around 2011. I was still in college and I actually got invited down to Los Angeles. I'm not from Los Angeles. A lot of people think I am. I'm from California, but I'm from a place called the Central Coast. So it's in the middle, smack dab of California. It's very opposite of Los Angeles, actually. There's not a lot of movie stars there. I think there's only one. It's Clint Eastwood. And we all know him and we're like, that's cool. Clint's cool. And he's very like discreet. It's very nature-y, lots of agriculture. It's just so opposite of LA. And so I got invited to LA with my cousin. She was doing something for her sorority, super cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll just go. I'll venture down there. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. And I remember when I was down there, it's as if I entered into the wilderness. Like Jesus, when he entered into the wilderness, he did it because he knew he was led to. I felt completely led to go with my cousin. But at the same time, when Jesus was in the wilderness, he knew he was going into the wilderness to be tested. And so I did not know that, though. I didn't know I was going to LA to be tested. And that's exactly what happened when I was down there. I remember, I think it was the second night down there out of a series of about 4 nights. And that morning, after that second night, I remember coming out of my hotel. I see Chris Brown to the right of me. Literally, I'm walking out of this hotel and I'm like, who's this guy? Everyone's like flocking around him trying to take pictures, and he's trying to like move quickly from the hotel into his car. And I'm looking and my cousin's like, I think that's Chris Brown. And I was like, no way. And it wasn't just that it was Chris Brown. There was like this aura of, you need to seek fame in order to feel satisfied. And it kept haunting me. And that was just what I was dealing with in that season. That lie that fame is going to satisfy you, that people knowing who you are is going to satisfy your soul. And I was dealing with that on such a strong level. And I remember there was one night really where I felt like the temptation and the testing really hit its peak. I was in this like lounge area with my cousin. We were eating dinner and just having a good time with her friend. And we were there, and this guy approached me, and the music's like really loud, and I'm in LA, and this guy comes up to me, and he is really good looking dude. Clearly it takes a little bit more for you to be good looking for me to like, want anything with you. I didn't know him from Adam, so it really just didn't matter. But at that moment, he's this good looking dude, and he literally asked me if I wanted to go upstairs with him and have a good night. And I was just really blown away how forward he was. And it really sent my mind spiraling. Just that temptation was like overloading in my life in this one moment in LA, in this testing ground. And I really had to come to grips. I was following Jesus so passionately. I loved the Lord. I was reading my word. I loved him so much. And then here's all of these lies stacking up on top of each other saying, hey, Martay, if you would just give in to us, we will satisfy your soul and we can do it better than the Lord. That's really what I felt in that moment of time. And so I said no. And I felt like I got out by the skin of my teeth. There was an empowerment by the Lord, but I felt like a lot of it hinged on just my personal decision, and the Lord left it up to me. He gives us free agency, and I'm so grateful that he does that. He doesn't force us to follow him. He doesn't force us to love him, and he gave me the full right to say yes to that temptation and to walk in sin if I wanted to. But in that moment, I felt like I was completely weak. My flesh was weak. The spirit was willing. My flesh was weak. But the Lord empowered me. He gave me the power to say no, but I had to ultimately say no. And I'm so glad I did. As soon as I went home, that scripture after Jesus was in the wilderness where it says angels had to attend to him, I always wondered what it meant. And in that moment, I really felt as if I could understand why angels needed to attend to Jesus after he had been tested in such a heavy way. Sometimes we just see it as, Jesus is God. He is 100% God, but he's also 100% man when he was here, and I think it's so interesting because sometimes we attribute too much to like Jesus didn't have weakness. That's what I'm trying to say. We kind of think Jesus just wasn't weak at all. He didn't have weak moments of temptation. He didn't experience that, but he did. He just overcame them. He never gave in to them. And so I experienced my flesh feeling weak, but was glad I got to experience what Jesus experienced in that desert land. His flesh was weak, but yet he said yes to something bigger, his Father's will. And I felt like, my flesh was weak, and Jesus had flesh, so, he had to experience that, or it's all a lie. He had flesh, so he had to experience the weakness of the flesh, but he didn't give into it, and he didn't sin. And so I got to experience that, and I understand how hard it was to overcome it because I had my moment, and I've had others since then, but that was really strong, one of the strongest moments of temptation and testing for me. And I went home and I was literally like mentally needed help and the Lord to really just soothe my soul, because my soul felt so just kind of like burdened with the fact that I had just come face to face with such I'll just be honest, like demonic forces. And it wasn't Chris Brown that was demonic. It's not what I'm saying. Just like the spirit of like the devil saying to you, if you just follow me and serve me with all that you have, I will give you everything you want. But that's such a lie, because he's a liar. There's no truth in him, nothing but lies. And so experiencing the liar face to face and him coming for you, man, my soul was like, I need to recoup. I need rest. And I felt for once what Jesus felt when the scriptures say angels had to attend to him. So I wrote Satisfied because I know deep down inside that nothing is ever going to satisfy me deeply like Jesus Christ can. And when I came to him when I was 15 years old, I experienced a true peace, a true love, a true satisfaction that nobody, not one person on this earth could give me, not any sport or any, fulfillment of music career or any kind of career. Honestly, nothing can give me what Jesus gave me that day when I got saved. And so I wrote Satisfied just as honestly a marker to that moment. Like, Martay, you came out of that and you may have left a little mind jolted and feeling crazy, but you made it out by the grace of God. And if you can, so can others. So Satisfied is exactly that. I know a lot of my songs don't necessarily come off the most positive, but they're real life experiences, and that's what I've always desired to do, is give people real life experiences. So that's Satisfied.